Julian Myles Wood was born on October 29, 2020, just a few days before Halloween, to parents Margot and Jared Wood. In one of his first pictures taken in a bassinet at the hospital, he wore a onesie that read, "My First Halloween," and behind him a sign displayed his name and his birth weight of 7 pounds 11 ounces. Julian had red hair, dark eyes, a cheerful laugh, and what his family called a rambunctious attitude and cheesy smile. Julian, nicknamed Juju, was a sweet little boy who had just started preschool in October of 2023 and liked his teachers and classmates there. He loved dinosaurs, and his favorite color was green. He also loved his family. He would wrestle with his big brother every chance he got, and his family said he was obsessed with his new baby sister. Pictures taken when she was born show him carefully looking into her bassinet and gently holding her. His family adored him, and dozens of other pictures give glimpses into his happy life. Many show him playing with and hugging his brother, from playing hide and seek and cornhole in the backyard to plucking out notes on a tiny piano together. In one, he tagged along at his brother's Little League games. In another, he shared a red dinosaur balloon with his little sister. In the pictures, he grew from a wide-eyed baby with just a fringe of red hair to a confident toddler. He had dino-themed birthday parties, a blue and yellow dinosaur Halloween costume, and plenty of dinosaur pajamas, toys, and shirts. He and his siblings posed with the Easter Bunny in the spring, and the whole family dressed in matching outfits and posed with Santa at Christmas. Unlike many of the stories we cover, image after image show a toddler who was happy, wanted, taken care of, and very loved.
Julian's third birthday was in October of 2023, a few days after he started preschool. His last day of preschool was May 29, 2024, a Wednesday, and his family snapped a picture of him smiling in his favorite green coat that day. 5 days later, on Monday, June 3rd, his mother took him with her when she went to pick up some items at the Giant Eagle grocery store in North Olmsted, Ohio. While there, she encountered Bianca Ellis, a 32-year-old woman originally from Cleveland. By that time, Bianca had been on a downward spiral for several years. Early posts on her social media included selfies that looked normal. She took pictures wearing nice clothes with her hair and makeup done, and posted about wanting to get a fancy set of fingernails. Over time, though, her posts seemed less normal. For a few months in 2019, she seemed obsessed with Medusa, posting many images of art featuring the mythical woman. Later, in mid-2023, she posted selfies using filters that made her look like a golem-like creature and a devil with horns. Later that year, she posted screenshots of text about Greece and France and NATO and World War II, but she provided no context to explain why she thought the information was important. After those cryptic posts, she linked a few songs that she liked, but by the end of the year, she had either stopped posting online or made her posts private. According to her mother, Yolanda Eggleton, Bianca had struggled with mental health issues and had been seeing hallucinations and hearing voices that weren't there for years. In May of 2023, she was arrested for stealing $69 worth of merchandise at a Walmart in North Olmsted, Ohio, and eventually the Rocky River Municipal Court placed her on parole for that incident. She violated her parole by not attending required classes. Over the next several months, we were able to trace her movements in large part because of the trail of arrest warrants she left in her wake. In January of 2024, she got into an altercation at a hospital in Kern County, California. When the hospital tried to release her, she refused to leave and started kicking and punching hospital staff and security guards. Police were called and arrived to find her on the floor of an exam room. In the police car, she told the officers she wanted to do something that would get her locked up for at least 2 weeks, but wouldn't answer when they asked her why she wanted to be in jail so badly. In February, she didn't show up at her court hearing in California, so a warrant was issued for her arrest for 3 counts of battery on a person.
By February 24th, she was back in Ohio at a women's shelter in Cleveland. She told staff there she had killed someone in Bakersfield, California, and that she wanted to confess to police. Officers in Cleveland talked to her, and she told them she had killed a woman and dumped her body in a field somewhere that might have been near a river. Now, according to the police report, she said the victim was a white female, approximately 5 foot 6 inches tall, 150 pounds, and that she was a bartender or worked at a bar. In addition to confessing to murder, Bianca also told Cleveland police that if they didn't arrest her, she was going to kill someone at the shelter because she wanted to, and I'm quoting this, kill someone and eat their flesh. Now, it's still unclear whether she actually killed someone. Police in California said they had several unsolved homicides that matched the description that she gave, but Bianca wasn't a suspect in any of those cases. With no evidence to support her confession, California officers wouldn't have been able to hold her in jail, and they decided to not send someone halfway across the country to enforce her outstanding battery warrants. Since California law enforcement didn't want her, Cleveland reached out to North Olmsted to see if they wanted to jail her for her parole violation, but they declined. Since no one wanted to arrest her, Cleveland officers took her to a local hospital for a mental health evaluation. During the evaluation, she became extremely irate, agitated, and began fighting with the officers and hospital staff trying to help her, and had to be sedated for her own safety.
Details about her hospital stay have not been released, but we know she was out a few weeks later because she was arrested again in March, this time in Orlando, Florida. We have no idea how she got from Ohio to California and then to Florida. She tried to rent a room in a hotel there, but she didn't have any money. She refused to leave. She was arrested for trespassing. She told police she was on vacation in Florida, and as she had before, she told officers there she wanted to be locked up in jail.
Can I go to prison, because I don't have nowhere to go.
Well, you haven't done anything to go to jail.
But I don't have any money to have a bed to go to sleep in. I'm not even from here. I'm from Ohio. Okay. I was just trying to come here for vacation.
But after a few days, she was released again and made her way back to Ohio. Somehow, she either got or already had an apartment on Puritas Avenue in Cleveland. She had been staying at a women's shelter just a few months before, and it's unclear exactly when she lost access to her apartment, but by May of 2024, court records show she had been officially evicted for owing back rent.
Even though they didn't arrest her when the Cleveland police asked them to in February, on May 30th, the day after Julian's last day of preschool, North Olmsted police arrested Bianca on the shoplifting parole violation. Someone had called the police because they were concerned for her welfare. Bianca said she had gotten lightheaded because of her medicine, but was feeling better when officers arrived.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm going over here to the bus stop.
You're okay though? Somebody called because they were concerned about you.
Yeah, I kind of get lightheaded from my medicine.
5221, I'm out. Do you need assistance at all? Or you need an ambulance or anything? Are you feeling all right?
No, I think the temperature is just getting to be just right.
Okay. Do you have an ID on you just so I can tell them that you're all right? Thank you.
Before letting her leave, they ran her name and the warrant popped up. When the officer told her, "All right, Bianca, you know you've got warrants," she replied, "Oh, probably for here, yes." She held her arms out willingly for the handcuffs and was arrested with no resistance.
All right, Bianca, you know you got warrants. Girl, I don't know.
They're probably for here, yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta check on those, all right? You got anything crazy on you? No guns, knives, drugs, bombs, nothing like that? All right, I'm gonna cuff you in the front, okay? That's fair? Go ahead, face me for a second. Right here. Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to pinch you.
Again, Bianca was back in jail, but again, she wouldn't stay there for long.
The North Olmsted police didn't know she had outstanding warrants for a low-level violent crime in California. They checked their database, but those crimes were not listed. They also didn't know she had told the Cleveland police that she was going to kill someone, and that she wanted to eat someone's flesh. According to North Olmsted Police Detective Sergeant Matthew Beck, their databases don't track every encounter with law enforcement, especially ones that happen across state lines. He said it's not physically possible. To do that at a national level would be an overload to the system. Still, even if the police weren't tracking those kinds of crimes, surely Bianca's probation officer would have access to additional information, right? At least the warrants for crimes in California. Criminals can't just get away with violating their probation by committing crimes across state lines, right? But in fact, the Rocky River Court did not have access to any national databases, was not alerted to her additional crimes, or to the fact she had been committing crimes in multiple states. When asked why, Clerk of Court Deborah Comrie told reporters, I quote, "We're not the FBI." Even though the local police and parole officers couldn't do anything, a local magistrate still recommended Bianca have a mental health check before she was released. During her arraignment on the parole violation, the magistrate noticed she was acting strangely. You couldn't tell if she understood what was going on and thought she might have fallen asleep during the procedure. But the team that the Rocky River Municipal Court used for mental health evaluations didn't have anyone available to see her and wouldn't for a few days, so Judge Brian Hagan overruled the magistrate and released Bianca without a hearing. With that decision, Bianca and whatever dark messages her voices were whispering in her head were set free on the public once again.
On June 3rd, Bianca walked to the North Olmsted Police Station on Lorraine Road, which happened to be located just across the road from the shopping plaza that held the Giant Eagle. She arrived there pushing a wheelchair with a suitcase in it. She told officers inside that she wanted her money back, cash she claimed was in her possession when she was arrested 4 days earlier. After officers checked their logs and told her she hadn't been carrying any cash, she left the same way she arrived, on foot. She rolled the wheelchair a few yards from the station and abandoned it near a flight of stairs. Then, she skipped down the last few stairs and down the sidewalk. After leaving the police station, Bianca made the 5-minute walk across Lorraine Road into the Water Tower Square Plaza. She stopped at the Volunteers of America thrift store in the plaza and stole 2 kitchen knives. In the footage filmed in front of the thrift store, she can be seen smacking one of the knives against a concrete post before walking off. She made a brief stop at the nearby Bins and Things store. Then she made the 2-minute walk to the Giant Eagle grocery store and went inside. Surveillance footage from inside the store shows Bianca entering the store, holding what appears to be a 6 to 8 inch knife in her right hand. The footage is absolutely bone-chilling. She walked past the service desk and cash registers, casually swinging the knife by her right side. Though it seems impossible, no one noticed her or the knife. She passed Julian and his mother Margot as they left the self-checkout area. Margot was pushing a shopping cart and Julian was sitting in the cart. The moment Bianca saw them, she immediately turned around and followed them out of the store. Though it is obvious on the surveillance footage, there is no indication that Margot noticed Bianca's quick change of direction or even realized she was there. She doesn't speed up, look around, or change direction. The footage ended at the exit of the store, but Bianca continued to follow them across the parking lot. When Margot stopped the cart and turned to open the trunk, Bianca stabbed baby Julian in the face. Margot tried to pull Julian from the cart and protect him, but Bianca stabbed him again in the back and stabbed Margot in the shoulder. Then she turned and walked away. In less than 5 seconds, the attack was over. 5 seconds was all it took to butcher a baby and cut the heart out of a happy family.
Just after 3 p.m., the North Olmsted 911 dispatcher received multiple calls reporting a black female dressed in all black who was stabbing people in the parking lot of Giant Eagle. One call, a Giant Eagle employee told the dispatcher, "There's a child. He's bleeding all over the place. We're at North Olmsted Giant Eagle. I don't know what happened to him." The dispatcher asked if he was breathing. The employee responded, "I don't know. They're doing CPR on him."
I'm at North Olmsted, Ohio, Giant Eagle. Someone just stabbed a kid and a lady in the parking lot.
Screams in the parking lot as we were parking or walking to our car, and we saw the kid.
Since the police station was so close by, officers and first responders arrived almost immediately. Some officers pursued Bianca, who was merely walking away and carrying the bloody knife. A caller to 911 told police where she had gone, reporting that she had walked down Dover Road near a local pizza place. The caller could see the blood on her knife. Bianca didn't make it very far and was quickly arrested without any incident. Others tried to help Margot and Julian. Paramedics tried to resuscitate the toddler and stop his bleeding. They rushed them both to St. John Hospital, but it was too late. Julian had been wounded too deeply, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office said his death was caused by the injuries he sustained in the attack. Margot was hospitalized, but is expected to recover from her injuries. According to Sergeant Beck, Bianca had never met Margot or Julian before, and she did not know the family. They were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were chosen completely at random. He said, "The investigation into the motive in this attack is still ongoing, but everything learned thus far points that this was a random act of violence. There's no indication why she committed this. There's some mental health concerns that we have, but nothing concrete at this point." The mayor of North Olmsted, Nicole Daly Jones, expressed her grief and the grief of a community shaken to its core, saying, "This was a terrible tragedy for our entire community. As North Olmsted mayor and a mother myself, I cannot fathom what this family must be going through. To lose their young child in such a violent and senseless manner is absolutely heartbreaking. I know that all the residents of North Olmsted join me in sharing their profound grief. We are all terribly sorry for their loss, and I ask everyone to keep them in thought and prayer." The mayor arranged for grief counselors for the officers, first responders, and other city employees affected by the tragedy. Giant Eagle brought in counselors as well for their staff. The same Giant Eagle branch had been the site of another senseless tragedy about a year earlier in June of 2023 when Bernard Smith entered the store and shot his ex-wife who worked there, and then proceeded to remove himself from the earth. A local man and regular shopper, Al Zellick, said the double tragedy so close to home made him fearful. He said, "It's scary knowing you can't even go to the grocery store anymore. And after things that have happened in the past, it's like, what's going on? It kind of sucks. You can't go to the grocery store and you have to worry about being assaulted."
After her arrest on the day of the murder, Bianca was charged with aggravated murder, arraigned at the Rocky River Municipal Court, and held in the North Olmsted Jail on an initial bond of $1 million. On June 4th, the evidence was presented to a grand jury, and they indicted her on 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, 1 count of endangering children, 1 count of tampering with evidence, and 1 misdemeanor count of theft for stealing the knives used in the attack. On June 17th, she was arraigned on the new charges in Cuyahoga County Court, but not until Judge Nancy Russo forced her to listen to the charges in open court after Bianca repeatedly acted strange, inappropriate, and difficult. At one point, her attorney told the judge, "There are some mental health issues. I believe she hasn't been on her medication."
During the first exchange with the judge, which was conducted over video, Bianca kept her head down and refused to participate or answer any questions. After a short break, during which her attorney spoke with her and read the charges, Bianca appeared again over video and told Judge Russo she did not know if she had heard the charges against her. When her attorney reminded her she had just read them out loud, Bianca continued to deny knowing her charges. Her attorney tried to waive her right to an arraignment, but the judge refused the motion, saying, "This could be a capital murder case. I don't think that's appropriate."
Good morning, Your Honor. Ashlyn Carroll on behalf of Miss Ellis. We would
Excuse me, I'm going to ask her the questions.
Oh, sure.
Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis?
Yeah.
Please raise your head.
Where is it coming from?
I just need to ask you a few questions. I need to make sure you understand them. Do you have an attorney?
I'm looking for one.
Okay. Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
Repeat that.
Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
Possible.
Okay. Have you received and read your indictment?
I don't know.
You don't know if you've received it? Have you received it? Ma'am, Just tell me whether or not you've received it, please. Miss Ellis, we'll be out of here in a few minutes if you just answer these questions. No, I haven't. Miss Ellis, have you received your indictment?
What was her name?
Miss Ellis?
What was her name? The judge. What's the judge's name?
Russo.
Russo.
That's right.
Russo with an R.
Have you received and read your indictment? Yes or no? If you haven't received it, I'm going to send it over there. So you need to tell me that. Miss Ellis, why don't you want to answer these questions? All right, we'll come back to her when she's ready to talk to me.
Your Honor, could I just let the court know our office does represent Miss Ellis on another case, and
I understand.
There are some mental health issues, and I do believe they have
I'll come back to her.
Okay, just to clarify, I do believe she hasn't been on her medication.
I will come back to her.
Okay.
Back in the courtroom. Ellis.
Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis?
Thank you.
Have you received the indictment?
I don't know.
Would you like me to send it to you or read it out loud to you?
Thank you. Thank you.
That's not responsive. Would you like me to do either of those things? Miss Ellis? Do you understand on the indictment that the state has reserved the right to add the death penalty? Do you understand that? Have you read that?
ASAP.
What's ASAP?
What's video court?
Your Honor, we would like to enter a not guilty plea for Miss Ellis. We would like to waive a reading of the charges, waive any defects in time or manner of service. As I said, our office has reached out to the jail to get mental health services for Miss Ellis. They were working with her on a previous case, and our social worker has gotten involved. So we would like to ask that counsel be appointed and that the public defender's office be one of those two attorneys, and ask for a reasonable bond.
Has she received the indictment? Have you discussed it with her?
I personally have not, but I do know attorneys from my office did go see her last week, and that there were some notable mental health issues.
Did they go with the indictment?
That I don't know.
Well, then how am I expected to arraign her?
I would like to waive that time period for her.
This could be a capital murder case. I don't think that's appropriate. So if somebody wants to go over there now and go over it with her, I'll hold it. So send somebody over there.
I'll reach out to the office.
Okay, we'll come back.
Finally, Judge Russo had Bianca brought downstairs into the courtroom where she could address her face to face. After prodding from the judge, she answered questions but refused to speak louder than a whisper. While the judge read her charges out loud, Bianca acted chillingly inappropriate. She giggled, smiled, blinked, smirked, and raised her eyebrows while staring at the camera. When the judge asked if she pled not guilty, Bianca answered by saying "sí" instead of yes. Finally, when the judge asked if she meant yes or no, Bianca said yes.
Ready, Your Honor?
I'm ready.
We're going back to case number 692604, Bianca Ellis.
I hear one.
Hello, Miss Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment?
I don't.
Okay. Have you read it? You have not read it.
I read
Okay.
it to you back there, right?
We have a copy here. You can read it.
I don't want to read
You don't want to read it.
it. No.
Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you?
I asked her not to.
I'm sorry.
I asked her not to.
You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct?
No.
She didn't read it to you.
I read it.
Okay, well, we can read it in open court. Okay. It's a 10-count indictment. Count 1 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. The state of Ohio reserves the right to seek a superseding indictment containing the appropriate 2929.04A aggravating circumstances specifications. And so you understand that means the state is reserving its right to add a death penalty specification. Count 2 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, that the defendant did purposely cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. Count 3 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 6 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to purposely cause the death of Margot Wood. Count 7 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to cause the death of Margot Wood as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2901.11A1. Count 8 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to Margot Wood. Count 9 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress or was about to be or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with the purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence in such proceeding or investigation. Count 10 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did with purpose to deprive the owner, Volunteers of America store, of property or services, to wit, knives, knowingly obtain or exert control over either the property or services without the consent of the owner or the person authorized to give consent. I have now read the indictment to you. Do you wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
C.
Pardon me?
C.
What's same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of the hearing, the judge allowed Julian's father, Jared, to make a brief statement.
I understand the victims are represented and they want to make a comment before I set bond. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Could you start with your name?
My name is Jared Wood, father of the deceased, husband of Margot. Your Honor, that day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son. or anything that my wife and I, even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous. But I really wish no bail, period. Or extend it to the max limit possible that you can, at the very least. Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say?
That'll be it. Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge Russo increased her bail to $5 million and also ordered GPS monitoring and no contact with any of the victims or victims' families if Bianca managed to make bail. As of now, she has not done so and remains in jail. Thank goodness.
Is there anything else before I pronounce bond?
Your Honor, we would just ask that you consider assigning the Public Defender's Office, recognizing this is not our number. We did represent her at the first appearance unit. I did meet with her on Friday. We have had contact with her family and begun working on the case. Thank you, Your Honor.
When the original bond was set out of Muni Court, the bond was set at $1 million, and it was before the passing of one of the alleged victims. I do not believe that bond is appropriate given the change in circumstances and the allegations that are contained in this indictment. Bond is set at $5 million, cash, surety, or property. GPS, no contact with any surviving victim or victim's family, DNA order. Judge is John Russo. Pretrial is June 17th at 9 a.m. I'll have signed counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You want me to sign that?
On June 17th, Bianca appeared in court for a pretrial hearing to discuss the discovery and a potential conflict of interest.
One thing that I wanted to note, so before the case was indicted and assigned to the court, a staff member of mine noted that they had attended the wake of the decedent in this case. I indicated to that staff member if they could explain to me how they found themselves at the wake, and if there's some concerns the court should at least put on the record, and so I am going to put it on the record. Staff indicated that their partner had, if I'm correct, grown up with the decedent's father while they were youth, and maybe played basketball, like maybe CYO basketball and things of that sort. My staff indicated they had no interaction with the decedent's parents, including the named victim and the counts that are before me as well, and had never met any of the parties regarding the family. Staff did tell me they went, and that was the first time that they met the parents, was at the wake. So that brief moment. They also told me that they donated to the GoFundMe that somehow might be out there. And so I want to note that. When I became aware of that, I became aware of that before the case was even assigned to me. And so then I felt it at least compelling. I don't know any of the parties, nor have I had any contact with the parties, and nor have I had any discussions with my staff regarding that. But I thought I'd put it on the record. I don't believe there's any conflict. I don't feel conflicted at all. And so I place that on the record for you to take for consideration if you believe that you think there's a conflict with the court. I don't see one, just because I don't know any of the parties. But if you want to take that to your staff or your superiors and have conversations, you can let me know, or if you want to speak to it now.
Your Honor, on behalf of the state, we have no objection. In the efforts of being transparent, the members of the Wood family are related to a staff member in the prosecutor's office as well, and that person will have no contact or anything with regards to this case. So with regards to that, we'd like to put that on the record as well and let the defense know that.
Very good.
Thank you.
And Mr. Johnson and Mr. Mack, I don't know if there was a concern, or you just take it under advisement, and you could let the court know if there's any concerns that you have, whether we're on the record next time or through motion, or if you want to speak to it now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. All right, I'll allow you to pick a future date with my bailiff, and I'll have that date just between the parties. I'll continue to ask that you update the court on when the autopsy report is provided to the state, just to make sure the external hard drive has been submitted as well. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Very good.
Thank you,
All right, we'll adjourn. Thanks.
At a hearing on July 16th, Bianca's attorneys presented the court with an evaluation of her mental state that deemed her incompetent and not able to assist in her defense, which meant she can't be tried in her current mental condition. The state will enlist their own psychiatrist to confirm the claim at her next court appearance on August 13th.
Watch out, Brandon. All right, so we're here this morning, case 692604, Bianca Ellis. She's present in court this morning with her counsel, Mr. Mack, Mr. Johnson, and Mr. Summers. Assistant County Prosecutor, Ms. Faralia, and Ms. Patel are here on behalf of the state of Ohio. We're here this morning for this matter. Court's looking for a few updates from the parties as well. I'll note for the record that we did set it for trial for December 9th. Looks like we inadvertently put December 6th on the journal entry, so that in fact is a wrong date. That's a Friday, I think. So it's in fact December 9th that the trial date is set with respect to this case. If I can go to the state of Ohio, I know there had been some discussions about discovery and where that discovery might be, as well as I think the autopsy report, and then I could go to the counsel for Ms. Ellis and hear from them. Thank you. Ms. Faralia, good morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Yes, we have been complying with our discovery requirements. We have sent over documentation for the defense with regards to the autopsy. It is my understanding that it in fact has been completed, and the state should have it in its possession by the end of the week, and then we will transfer it over to defense counsel. In addition, the state still has some outstanding subpoenas for some additional documentation. As soon as we get that, we will turn that over as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Mack, Mr. Johnson, if you want to be heard then this morning, I'll hear from both of you. Any concerns about that discovery or anything for the record regarding Ms. Ellis?
I don't think so, Judge.
Okay. Very good. And then with respect to Ms. Ellis?
Judge, during the month of June, Mr. Johnson and I met with Ms. Ellis. And as a result of that interview, we came back to this court. We petitioned the court to see if we can get an expert on the board to interview Ms. Ellis. And that was in fact done during the first week in July. Subsequently, our expert communicated with Mr. Johnson and I and believes that at this point Ms. Ellis is incompetent and not able to assist in her defense and cannot stand trial. So we're asking the court to respectfully have her referred to North Coast Behavioral so that she can be restored if possible.
All right, Mr. Mack. I know for the state of Ohio, that report is under seal as provided to counsel. They have the opportunity to have that interview, which they did. The court's unaware of that and being made today with a request to refer her to North Coast. Obviously, I'm not going to ask the state of Ohio to stipulate to something you haven't seen, but I will ask what your thoughts are about the state of Ohio either wanting the court to provide a report through our court psychiatric clinic and or whether you're going to opt to have someone else privately hired by yourself.
The state, Your Honor, at this time is going to respectfully request that she be referred to the court psychiatric clinic for evaluation under seal, and that report is to be provided to you and to the state and to the defense.
Okay. So that being the case, I know it's about a 30-day window. I will just say that I'll have my bailiff call there to make sure that the clinical psychologist who's in charge, Dr. Songer, is aware of the report needing to be done timely, and then also to make sure that either he or someone who has the experience be able to handle that report for this court for her determination of whether she's competent to stand trial. Regarding that, going 30 days out, I'll ask that report to be completed August 13th. We would ask the parties to be back in the court to have a discussion on what next steps might be regarding the findings from our court psychiatric clinic, as well as discussions about what would be next for Ms. Ellis if in fact they also find her to be incompetent to stand trial as well. So is the 13th something that is available on all of your calendars? So that would be August 13th.
On behalf of the state, it's fine, Your Honor.
Yeah, on behalf of Ms. Ellis, we're good as well.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and set that date, have the parties appear here for that hearing, and then I'll refer Ms. Ellis to the court psychiatric clinic to have them make a determination of competency regarding this matter. Anything further then from the state?
None, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And on behalf of Ms. Ellis, Mr. Mack?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for being timely, and then we'll adjourn with respect to today's matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Her trial is tentatively scheduled to begin on December 9th, 2024, but that could change if she's ruled incompetent. And even if she does go to trial, her defense could argue not guilty by reason of insanity if they think a jury would believe that she wasn't in control of her thoughts and actions at the time of the stabbing. And if she was tried and found guilty and sentenced to death, she would likely have to undergo additional evaluation because Ohio law forbids execution of the mentally ill. We'll keep an eye on this case as it moves forward, and we'll let you know if we get any updated information. Despite the tragedy, Judge Brian Hagan, who released Bianca without a mental health evaluation just days before the stabbing, still stands by his decision. He told the local reporters that there wasn't any red flags shooting up that pole. There wasn't any indications here. No sign of previous violent acts. If he had to do it over, Judge Hagan said he would handle her case the exact same way. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, who was recently nominated as the Republican vice presidential candidate, has spoken out publicly against Judge Hagan and asked him to step down because his actions allowed a tragedy to happen. Given the tight timeline, Bianca couldn't have been in that parking lot on June 3rd if she had been held for additional evaluation. She still could have committed a crime, but Julian wouldn't have been her victim. If Hagan won't step down, Vance has asked the public to vote him out of office.
Visiting hours for Julian were held on June 7th at Repepi Funeral Home in the nearby town of Parma. The funeral home's website hosts an online memorial for the toddler featuring a collection of photos that commemorate his short but happy life. The online memorial ends with the reminder, "Those we have held in our arms for a little while, we hold in our hearts forever." Julian's funeral mass was held on June 8th at St. Charles Borromeo Church, also in Parma. After the funeral, which the family asked to hold privately, the procession drove to Sunset Memorial Park in North Olmsted, where Julian was buried. The family asked the public to create a memory line along the route from the church to the cemetery. They asked the public to celebrate Juju's life by flooding the streets with the color green, or dinosaurs, and the public did exactly that. They came out to share their grief and honor the little boy. One local woman ordered an inflatable dinosaur and had it shipped overnight so it would arrive in time. Resident James Kirko said he came because he has a grandson who also loves dinosaurs. He joined the celebration on his motorcycle and brought some stuffed dinosaurs along for the ride. Community member Randy LeMasters said his heart went out to the family. He said, "It's a tragic thing that's happened to them, and they need to see everyone supporting them. I can't imagine the grief that mother's going through, and she had to watch it. And the father that wishes he was there, I can't imagine. I just want this family to know that there are a lot of people out here supporting them today in every way that we possibly can."
Tonight, funeral services for the boy who was stabbed to death at Giant Eagle in North Olmsted last week. A mass for 3-year-old Julian Wood took place this morning at St. Charles Borromeo Church in Parma. He was then laid to rest at Sunset Memorial Park in North Olmsted. Dozens of close friends, family, and community members lined the streets as the procession left the church. Many showed up wearing and waving green, as well as donning dinosaur masks and costumes, as those were two of Julian's favorites.
I know the grief that she's going through and what she's going to go through, and I just Wanted to let her know she's not alone. This family is not alone.
It's a tragic thing that's happened to them, and they need to see everybody supporting them.
Just hurts me to think that this is what our world's turning into. You can go to a grocery store, church, police station. It happens all over.
These people, they didn't deserve this, but we're here to support them.
Julian's aunt Nastya spoke for his family and thanked everyone who participated. She said, "The support from this community has been truly incredible. People from all over have come together for our family. No words can fully capture the emotions we felt as we left the church and made our way to Julian's final resting place. The streets were lined with thousands of people dressed in green, holding dinosaurs and balloons. There were folks in dinosaur costumes, dogs in dinosaur costumes, people holding signs, and everyone simply sharing the moment with us, offering their deepest condolences. It was truly a breathtaking experience. We felt an overwhelming sense of unity as people from all walks of life came together to honor Juju. We never expected such an outpouring of love and support for our family. Each of us was moved to tears. The memory line was one of the most incredible things we have ever witnessed. We will be forever grateful for the way the community has showed up for us." As of this recording, the GoFundMe page for Julian's family has raised over $275,000. On that page, Julian's aunt Nastya made the following statement on behalf of the family. She said, "Our family is overwhelmed with sadness and overwhelmed with the loving support the community has already provided us. This will be an incredibly long journey to recovery, but truthfully, we will never recover. But we will continue to share stories about our beautiful baby boy. This is something no person, no family, no mother, no father, no grandmother should ever experience. We urge you all to hold your babies close. This should have never happened. Please continue your prayers for our family, for Margot, baby Julian, Jared, his grandmother, his brother, and his sister, and pray our family receives some sort of justice."